Hello, hello, and welcome back. My name is Ramos. I am your storyteller for tonight's Chronicle, Book of Saints. We are in Season 2. We have no other announcements other than the fact that we are still fundraising for the Trevor Project. The link will be intermittently put into the chat, and if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be into the description below. I believe that is all our announcements, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into meeting our players, shall we?
Avery at Avery DeBoy on all the social medias. I am a community ambassador right here on the Rolling Nomads. You'll catch me in various games. I style myself as something of an internet personality. However, this evening, I will be playing the Slick Serpent EREBUS Kai.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Trey. Or the person that plays Trey. Um, yeah, I do stuff here and there. I think maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Next person.
Hello again, everybody. Morin here playing Victor BELLSHANE. Let's see how far our plans get tonight.
Indeed. Let's find out together, shall we? Without further ado, let's do just that and jump right into tonight's episode of Book of Saints. Gentlemen, who has the recap for tonight?
Be me. So, last time on Book of Saints, we, in the wake of the fire dance 2 sessions ago, we decided that we needed a mass embrace. We needed to have a blood feast. So, targeting 2 places where we sent the warriors and some of the Nos to the local Elysium. Your beloved saints went to one of the clubs Fernando Villarreal liked to frequent. And we did just that. Mass embraced. TREY, choosing not to embrace, found Magdalena, the perceived touchstone of Fernando Villarreal, who we already had tied up and staked back at the abandoned warehouse. We took our new childer and returned to the warehouse, where we questioned Fernando a little bit, pretending as if we had tortured Magdalena, with some deft rolls and some deft social maneuvering from Victor BELLSHANE. We got everything we could out of him, and then TREY subsumed his soul through the profane act of diablerie. From there, EREBUS was going out to check on the new childer, and we definitely didn't wipe Magdalena's memory, but we did let her go. And that's where we ended.
Excellent. This is where we find you all now. Together. Your plan still on the rails at current time. What comes next for our saints?
TREY, if you wouldn't mind, contact somebody from one of the other packs to have Magdalena dominated to truly forget everything that happened.
One of the other packs. I'll
None
be
of our
honest.
people have the ability.
I'll be honest, and this isn't me. Trying to talk shit or anything, but there's really only the Warriors, and I feel like they don't have the mental capacity really to handle that.
There's also the Nos.
All right.
There is a third option. One of us could take her for a ghoul.
We promised to free her. I intend to honor that.
And you did free her.
If you're looking for my advisement, uh, I you know I vote the original plan personally.
I have no intention of ghouling her.
I'll reach out to the to whoever to see if we could get somebody to
Oh. I
what
don't
was
mean
that?
to tete-a-tete here, but Derek has been lonely.
That is a problem for another time.
Could be a problem that's solved now if you took her for a ghoul and gave Derek a companion.
The answer is no.
Suit yourself.
But yeah, I'll reach out.
Thank you.
Who would you like to
Correct
reach
me
out
if
to,
I'm-
Trey?
I don't know. Why'd you ask for this? Yeah, I mean, I would reach out to the Warriors to see if they had anybody, and just the general impromptu leaders, from our ragtag team of Sabat,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
You have the phone number of 2 of the warriors, as far as we've recorded.
Mm-hmm. I forget the name, but I know it's some cool rocker type chick, tattoos, punk style.
Would you like to reach out to her?
Yeah, I'll reach out to her if she's not dead. And
Such a
I'll
positive
text.
outlook.
Hey, are you dead?
There's no response. Not immediately.
In like 15 to 20 minutes, I'll text again. I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, move on to the next.
You guys have time. There is a reply. Like to discuss something in the interim, or if you'd like to begin coming up with a plan B.
Well, there was something that we had to do getting very close to sunup. I did text Firenze's school that there was going to be that dead drop.
Indeed, you did.
So if we want to snatch that ghoul,
Nice
we're going to
night.
need to make it happen.
How far away are we from that time? Because I remember we had to like stay up for that, right?
Why I suggested dosing our vessels with methamphetamine, but you said no.
I mean, I could always try to maybe use Chewie and try to kidnap him.
Correct
Oh,
me if I'm
no, if-
wrong, Gilbert, but the ghoul that's meeting me has been Firenze's ghoul for a while.
A long time.
I don't mean to speak down, but is a several decades old ghoul too much for your dog? I
You
don't
mean the
know
mythical beast, the chupacabra?
I'm not familiar. I mean no disrespect. I just don't know what you're talking about.
My companion, Chewie. I mean, I'm not sure. I feel like this is a gamble, regardless.
I
And
would
then
say Chewie would be the plan B if we give him the order in case we can't manage to make ourselves stay awake.
I don't know. I feel like you're pushing the limits here, Victor. That's if we manage. There's a lot left to gamble. Even me, if I'm not there with Chewie or controlling him, which isn't a guarantee, there's a lot here left to mayhap.
I agree, but is there really any other options?
Where's Jason at?
I can do it by myself.
Don't Jason have like some supernatural stuff, some spiritual things?
Jason is not present with you all.
God damn it, Jason!
Jason is tending to the spot packs. He can be reached by phone, but in the interim, he is playing babysitter to the massive forces that you have let loose on Mexico City.
I will say, Trey, I did hear you making inquiries into a very particular and very interesting angle.
Yeah, you're talking about the, yeah, the
Pishanobs.
Pishanobs. I'm not good with that. Yeah.
I can handle the ghoul if the two of you want to reach out to the Pishanovs. Actually, that's a bad plan.
It sounds terrible.
You said we should stay together.
Personally,
Which do we feel like is more valuable then? The bit of intel that we could get from the ghoul, or making contact with the Pishanov?
or I tell you, me personally, I would like to handle Derek and Felix first, but that's just me.
So, here's an idea. As much as I want to make sure they're safe, that seems like the perfect cover under the chaos of us getting them, freeing them, for me to get staked. We go in there, and that's where Erebus betrays me. Still freeing them, of course, but right at that cusp of victory, of a victory.
We'll need to sell it.
I think it's an easier sell than you just stabbed me randomly at one point.
I think I should find it comforting that you think that's a better sell.
And I believe, while the Peace and Ob could be allies, I do not think they will side with us that quickly. That we could use them. Because tomorrow's the night. Correct me if I'm wrong, Storyteller. Tomorrow was the night in timeline, right?
Correct.
Right. So I don't believe they would join us as quickly as tomorrow night to be any kind of addition to the forces for the main
No.
event.
No, but to show them the faith that they need, we need to make contact before. We show them goodwill, and then we show them our might. We show them goodwill by meeting with them, establishing a relation, and then we show them our might by destroying Fiorenza di Savona. And then we treat them as allies.
Do you think that this school is going to have any information that is truly worthwhile, worth more than what they could bring to the table in the future?
Well, they certainly know Fiorenza and Fiorenza's habits better than I do.
Forenza, you know what kind of person she is. Would she trust?
That's the wrong question. The right question is, would Fiorenza speak loud enough to be overheard with her ghouls near? And that answer is yes. We have 3 good options. Whatever we do, I do believe that the second thing we do should be going to the house for Derek and Felix.
Your phone chirps, Trey.
I'll check it.
It's a response. Simple. Sorry, I can't help you. But they might. And there is an emoji of 3 faces. One directly after the other. And then an address.
I respond, you know, smile, sweat face. You're alive. Thank you.
A more immediate reply is given. Just the grok hand.
Punk rock hand, the punk rock hand. So, yeah, for what was her name? Maddie?
Magdalena.
Maggie? Magdalena? Jeez. Yeah, they suggested, I'm assuming this is the Hakata, right? The 3 faces.
It's a common parlance in text form for tonight's Knights of Second Inquisition monitoring. You can imagine so.
So yeah, it might kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Should we fetch her then? Because we let her go.
Thought we knew where she lived.
I don't know where she lives. I just know where she goes to party. I know the college she goes to. Do we really feel like performing an abduction on a college campus?
No, I thought somebody was actually talking to her at one point and found out she was living with a girlfriend.
I don't recall.
I mean, I could run her down real quick though. If this is something we're trying to take care of tonight.
Sooner the better.
Definitely should.
You realize that we'll need to be offering them a boon of some sort. It's the currency that they use. Forgive me, I forget you were once not as you are.
That's fine. It's a trivial task.
Is it?
I mean, we are kind of coming to them for work and to, potentially have them ally with us. So we are kind of packing on a lot for a first impression. But yeah, I I think a good boon would be right.
Could agree to that.
Fair enough.
Spectacular.
Get her.
Well, if we're not going to try and snatch the ghoul, I at least need to make up some sort of intelligence to drop there. And do that before the morning comes. If I'm not back by the time the sun rises, I'll see you when it sets.
It'd take you too long to drop something, especially since we have another task we're trying to get to.
You're right. I don't think we have time to get to them tonight. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Storyteller, it's already almost 4 a.m.
You guys are coming up around 2 a.m. if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, it's getting close. With the current time frame of where you guys are at, you guys, I believe, can push to 6, given the time of year it is, if I'm not mistaken.
But then our blood level, right? We have to go to sleep early, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So, we could try and get that done and meet with the Pishanobs and ask them to host us overnight. Or we could settle up with this dead drop and see the Pishanobs first thing tomorrow night.
Man,
That puts the Pishanobs, the house, and Forenza all in one night.
Then we push Fiorenza off a night.
I don't like any of this, but die. It's your call, Victor. But me personally, I vote.
Either way,
the
we need to
house.
grab the girl now.
Sure.
I didn't hear you vote for what?
I vote for the house. I feel like we're bringing a lot of shit to the doorstep of the Peace and Arms. And then we don't even have Jason here to vouch for us, you know.
That is true.
So, but I'm gonna look for Monique, so we could go ahead and grab Magdalena.
Understood. I believe Monique was out hunting as well, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was
By
just you
herself?
all.
Well, she went
Jason.
with us when.
When you guys went
she's
to go
with
grab.
Jason now?
When you guys went to go grab and create. I remember she was with you when you guys went to go do the mass embrace.
Yeah. So and that's when we brought old girl back, right?
We've left her involvement in your guys' the latter half of your previous session kind of ambiguous. Would you guys have liked to have her with you during all of this?
I would have been by her side. All right.
He's my closest advisor.
Excellent. Monique,
even if she hates me.
Oh, interesting.
Monique suddenly spawns in as if she was there the entire time. None of you are the wiser. She's always been there.
Of course.
Well, at least got some new disciplines.
Yeah, let's go grab this chick.
She nods. What's the plan after the fact? Is that we're just taking this step by step?
Grab her, hit the Peace and Ops tomorrow after the house. we're gonna have to hold her for the night.
If that's the case, I say we just grab her in the morning, because none of us is gonna be awake to really keep her.
And what exactly is going on with this dead drop? That has to get done tonight, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, I say fuck it. Let's do the dead drop. Personally,
I mean, if we're not trying to snatch the ghoul, then that's just something I can take care of on my own. That's not a problem. That's just making up a fake dossier, leaving it at the dead drop, and coming home.
We're really gonna try to retake the house tonight?
Tonight, no. Tomorrow.
you meant tonight, as in tomorrow?
Yes. But to what end?
It's not really about the house. It's about getting our people. We want to get Derek and we want to get Felix back.
We don't know where Felix is, Victor.
And to that end, we don't know where Derek is either.
No. Well, I mean, if
I
these
thought
truth
Fernando
teams
said that they
were-
were at the house. They were still holding the house.
Do you believe him? A lot's changed since the hours that he left and the hours that he died, Victor. Those are two valuable resources. I wouldn't keep them at the house.
But if they, on the off chance they are, should we not at least look?
What are they to you, Victor?
Can't believe I'm agreeing with him, but that's... I know you care for them, but casualties happen in war, Victor.
But are they not our allies?
And they served us well.
They
For all
are
we
alive.
know... For all we know, Felix is spilling everything he knows to keep himself moving and walking and talking.
You can count on it.
This big of a risk for a ghoul and someone who's not even part of the pack. It isn't smart.
I would have to agree.
The only thing I would be concerned about with the house is it's Alejandro, but even then, I don't know if it's worth it.
But I will say, that blood in the wall might be a pretty good boon. If it's still there, that is. I don't know.
Alejandro's skill in blood sorcery. Was he competent?
From what we could tell, yes. But he's also in that coma or stasis or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about his research material.
He was still relatively new.
There's also the things that were written on his skin.
That is a bigger thing.
And the night that I met him, he said when he left Sire, he stole a not so insignificant amount of thaumaturgical readings. Those are now in the hands of the enemy. And to boot, Fernando's sister is already an accomplished blood sorcerer.
If that were the case, then I would imagine none of that is at the house. They would have probably already turned it over at this point.
Which returns us to the original question. I will haunt this conversation no further. I have a dossier to write.
I don't feel good about it, but I will agree. Would not be smart to go in there.
No one feels good about war, Victor. And EREBUS will head up to the office and begin writing a fake dossier.
Understood.
We would have felt it if Alejandro had died, right? Because the Volderi is still in effect.
No, you wouldn't have felt it. Doesn't give you a constant update. It's not like Bluetooth or Wi-Fi. It's just an understanding. It's a general understanding. You'll feel the emptiness whenever you initially take the Vauldery again without them. But that will fade. What's the plan, Victor?
So, he's doing that, and he doesn't need us for this. I think we should go ahead and go make contact. At least talk to them. That way it's one less thing we have to deal with tomorrow.
And did you still want to get Maggie? And do we have a boon in mind?
Can I hear them with heightened senses from up in the office?
Give me a wits and awareness roll.
6 successes.
Yeah, you can catch what they're saying.
EREBUS will just barely raise his voice enough to be heard while he's up at the desk where TREY just ate Fernando. He'll just raise his voice a little bit. You'll need to take me with you to the Pisanoms. You don't speak their language.
How about this? Maybe a merger of two. Right? Because you have to do the dead drop. Maybe that could be the boon, right? I mean, a high-ranking ghoul of the Camarilla can't just be useful to us, you know?
If that's the case, we would need to grab them and then take them tomorrow and meet with them tomorrow. Because we won't have enough time to grab them and go.
We also have to consider the angle that they might not want that kind of heat from the Camarilla.
I feel like it's better than showing up empty-handed while
Surely
asking
is.
for stuff.
Surely is. And we should be prepared if they would rather use Magdalena for a blood bag than erase her memories.
It's fair. Let's not muddy the waters anymore, you know. So let's just yeah, whatever you feel our direction should be.
I like it. But let's grab somebody else in case they decide to go that route.
Just grab someone.
Yep. Someone else. That way we can still hold our word.
So we grab the ghoul, we grab another person, and we grab Magdalena.
Yes.
Well, then we
We
better
are
get started. The night's ticking.
We're going tomorrow then to the Peace Knobs.
Yes.
All right.
And when I'm finished, I will present Monique with a fake dossier about her and her movements so that she can read through it.
Go ahead, and I'm going to grant you a roll with an extra die because she's going to be pointing out certain things that she just wouldn't do, and it would be not necessarily obvious, but like anyone who really knows her, if they've dug deep, they'll know that certain things she just wouldn't do, or she wouldn't do certain patterns and such. We will call this... You have time to do this, so you can choose intelligence if you so choose. You can see a lot of choices here.
Could I argue
Mm-hmm.
manipulation and investigation?
I like manipulation investigation.
Can I use my specialty in investigation of drawing conclusions to make sure that they don't draw any?
A little bit of a stretch. Sure.
This is a fuckload of dice, and you said add one more?
Correct, because Monique is going to be aiding you with her particular movements.
7 successes.
7 successes. By the end of it all, it seems airtight. It's not a question of if it's real or if it can be believed. It's a matter of if it's too perfect, really. But amidst the fray of everything, I don't think the Chimaera really have a choice and the time to pick through information, especially with what you've already set in motion. You're confident that this will suffice, EREBUS?
If I may, because I'm just thinking. Maybe I'm overthinking. And plus, I like to. But anyway, yeah, if I may, like, the dossier is kind of pointless, right? Because we're not really giving it to him, right?
It is a CYA in case somebody else comes to look after he's gone.
Precisely.
And just to make sure, because I was thinking about it a little bit, right? Because this ghoul is I'm assuming that Fawn, like, Frenzia, you know, probably likes this ghoul a little bit. Been
Fiorenza cares
around.
for no one but Fiorenza.
Well, he's been around for a long time, so
Yeah.
if he like just goes missing without checking in, you know, when you're supposed to make a drop with him.
It'll be bizarre. The way Fiorenza runs these things is there's a certain allotment of time before and after the meet. And if there's no contact established with the one picking up the drop within the established bubble, then they send a search party.
Hey. And then the whole ordeal tonight with probably Fernando not returning or checking in either. I guess I say all this to say, make sure we're on our A game.
You said something about muddying the waters a few moments ago.
I mean, I feel like
The
this
more things happening for them, the muddier their water gets.
I mean, we're all in the same pond. Let's just not underestimate things.
As you say. We should go. We should grab Magdalena on the way if we can.
You'd mentioned earlier that holding her overnight would be, or during the day would be difficult, but it really won't be. We have plenty of ways to make sure she doesn't go anywhere.
I
We
was
do.
talking about like less traumatizing ways, but
Oh, that's not gonna happen. But she's not gonna remember any of this anyways.
Not remembering
Hopefully.
doesn't heal broken legs.
I had no intention of doing that. Just chaining her up would suffice.
He
Sure.
was being so nice to her too, man.
Let's go.
Such is life.
Did you say I was being nice to her?
I mean, you all was really.
Do you not remember the making her scream in reminiscence of everything she'd seen?
Could have been a whole lot worse.
We should go. What are we going to do with the two new childer, Victor?
Come with us. For now.
Do we have a vehicle
So we
with
can
room enough
educate
for all
them.
of these people?
No.
We had a
God,
van.
we had 2 new people.
You have the three of you, Monique. You have the two new childer. You are now essentially one person would have to get left behind. You guys are overstocked at this point. Plus, grabbing Magdalena, you'd have to throw one of them in the trunk, and one of your motley crew would have to be in the trunk with Magdalena. In which case, you're also trusting two new childer.
Not to eat her. I wouldn't wish to impose, Monique.
I'm on fucking babysitting duty again, aren't I?
Victor, are we really doing this?
I'll babysit them.
This is as, even still, this is as equivalent as being left alone. I say we just put the two childer in the trunk and let Maggie ride in the back seat. Y'all can fit, right?
We can also steal a bigger car.
Or just a second car.
Why don't you leave me to deal with a second vehicle? I'll be right behind you guys with these two morons.
They're not morons, they're just new.
How about one of the morons go with them and I stay I stay with Monique and the other moron.
In all fairness, we did talk about the two scions of Gangrel finding Magdalena. We could do a quick two-way split, meet in the middle. That would leave 4 kindred to grab a ghoul.
Ain't really 2. I'll say 3 at most.
But if we're meeting at the same spot, then it makes it easy.
We can also just... This place is proven to be safe for the time being. I'll stay behind with these 2 idiots. You guys take care of what you need to take care of. We'll meet back here by the end of the night. There's no reason for all of us to go out in a giant family outing. That's going to slow things down. There's too many moving parts at that point.
I'm not doing that.
A snatch and grab for 1 person doesn't need 5 of us. 6 of us, actually.
I like the plan of me and EREBUS take the 2 newbies, and you 2 grab Maggie.
I don't like any of these points, honestly.
I'm aware we don't want to split up, but time is of the essence. And plus, we should really be teaching our childer anyways.
Yeah, perfect fucking time. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
It's better than if I die tomorrow and don't teach him anything at all.
I'm gonna just eat him at that point.
I would look after him if you died tomorrow. We should go.
Let's go.
Whatever the plan is, we should leave now.
For your storyteller, what is the plan?
What I said is the plan. So me and EREBUS and the 2 newbies are going to the dead drop,
And Trey and Monique are...
grabbing Maggie.
And then we
Meet back at the warehouse.
and go to sleep.
Perfect.
Tie everybody up and go to sleep.
Excellent.
Dude, and just, for G Wiz, do these new guys have names? I know
They
one of them
do,
have
and
a
I was
name.
actually just looking for it because I don't remember what the fuck it was. And EREBUS named his own.
Yeah.
Well, mine's name was Peter, and now his name is Apropos.
Julio.
Thing 1 and thing 2.
So, with the 2 childer, EREBUS, Victor, you make your way to the dead drop. Intent on just dropping off the file, then snatching this dude up, or are you going to actually let him run a bit?
I don't think we really have time to let him run a bit.
No, we're gonna be cutting it too close. We'll drop. I'll cloak the gathering on all 4 of us, and then when he comes to grab the drop, we'll mob him.
And on the way there, and while we're waiting, I'm going to be educating my childer. Starting
also
off with,
going-
like, different clans.
I'm gonna give him my phone number too.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, I forgot. Never mind. Your kid can't have cell phones no more.
He can't do it either.
Never mind.
EREBUS's kid can.
I got your number.
Yeah, okay.
Don't eat my kid, Trey.
If you die, we have no time to be teaching.
Actually, that's a good point, because we need to really make this dude. I'm 8th generation, so he's 9th.
There's always a chance. So, EREBUS and Victor, I would like you to roll me whatever skill you'd like to subdue the individual that arrives to the dead drop.
Can I rouse check it?
Sure.
That was a failure.
Charisma, subterfuge, and awe.
I am at 1 hunger.
I liked it.
5 successes.
6 successes. With a crit.
Excellent. take a moment to describe to me, how does this work? You are successful in your venture. How does this go down? Take some narrative control.
Erebus will leave the others cloaked for a moment. As he uncloaks, we'll pop all. And just reach out, put a hand on his shoulder. What are you... You're not supposed to be here for another hour. What are you doing?
I like to show up early. Scope things out. Make sure everything is safe.
Well, you know what they say. The bird gets the worm. And
And then Victor's gonna bum rush him.
lead him out so that he's surrounded, and then drop Cloak the Gathering and let them all mob on him.
What's up a fight? And given the previous rolls you guys had made, but it's a pretty good fight. But even an experienced ghoul is no match for 4 kindred. 4 Canites. 4 vampires. But he gets a few good licks in. It's noticeable. Trey, with Monique, you two have a much easier time. She is only human. She's alone. On her way back. Scared. A little confused as to what is happening. Easily grabbed.
Well, I don't want to traumatize the woman.
Well, that's the question, Trey. Take some narrative control. How does this go down?
I mean, do she remember me? Us?
Oh, yes.
Then I just approach it in a very calmly concerning way.
She is not calm, Trey.
Look, if you don't stop freaking out, the motherfuckers from the club are gonna find you instead of us, okay? Because they're out here and they're raising ruckus.
Be manipulation, persuasion, Trey.
Or composure.
You know what? Composure works. Apologies.
There we go.
I'm trying to compose her, you feel? Can we get
the persuasion, composure, and persuasion? 3 successes.
3 successes. She's not calm. She's just trying to, get away. She has stopped sort of... she wasn't really making a scene to begin with. She's just trying to get away from you. I appreciate the kindness. I appreciate the efforts you made to keep everyone away from me, but I need you to stay away from me.
All right, good cop. Good cop, bad cop. It's your turn.
You asking Monique to be bad cop?
Well, yeah, I tried to be the good cop.
Monique is behind her in seconds and puts her in an arm bar and says, "Get in the fucking car," and then shoves her towards you, Trey.
Yeah. I opened the car door.
Now there is screaming, to which Monique just covers her mouth with one hand, and as she shoves her head down into the car, she just looks at you and just says, "Did you bring a bandana or a handkerchief or anything?" Trey, I need you to answer quickly. This mousy little bitch is biting me right now, and I'm gonna get pissed in a second here.
I'll rip my shirt or something. The sleeve off my shirt.
Right, thanks. She takes that and gags Magdalena. Monique slams the door and shakes her head.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean, the effort you made was admirable.
Well, I mean, that was just part of the plan.
She fucking bit me.
Pretty sure my bite would hurt more. Let's not act brand new here. Okay.
She kind of rolls her eyes. You can see the little bit of a smirk as she gets in the car. As she opens the door, you can hear the muffled scream. Magdalena, of course, is gagged, but there's that sort of muffled sound of screaming, and she just... the smirk kind of drops, and she's just like, "Shut up!" And is in the car.
She's done screaming, though. Like, she ain't gonna be annoying, is she?
She's gonna be annoying for a good chunk of time. As a note, this is Magdalena's car, which Monique has stolen. Yeah, there is to sort of drown out the sound of screaming, the muffled screams in the back. Monique turns on the radio, and there is Spanish rap that is playing very loudly in your vehicle now.
Nice.
All in all, both of your groups handle this relatively well. What happens with the ghoul, Victor? Gag him, knock him out, keep him conscious? What's the plan here?
Oh no, we're knocking him out. Knocking him out. And then as soon as we get back, because we didn't think to bring anything to tie him up with, he's probably going to be sandwiched, actually. We're going to sandwich him in between me and my child in the back seat.
I'll give you the grace to have brought something to stop this. There are 4 of you, the 2, you and Erebus, and then the 2 morons. They'll earn names when they're not shovelheads, I'm sure. But I think that you would have, between the 4 of you, I think that you would have grabbed something to tie them up. At the very least, some tie-down straps or something.
We have a lot of chains in that warehouse.
There are a lot of chains in the warehouse.
But yeah, we'll chain him up, throw him in the trunk, and make our way home. He is
Excellent.
still knocked out. We did knock him out.
Unconscious. Time is ticking. As you make your way, you reconvene at the warehouse. Trey, Monique, Victor, Erebus, and the 2 shovelheads. I would think Trey and Monique would have arrived first. What would you like to do with Magdalena? How do you want to deal with this problem?
Is she still freaking out?
Stopped screaming at this point, but is crying, likely trying to plead for her life.
Look, you're not going to die. And I'll be honest, right? All this stuff you're experiencing and going through is valid, but it's also very annoying. So, you could find somewhere in your small capacity to try to, find some composure, or I'll be honest, I probably will just knock you out.
For this, give me a charisma and persuasion. Try.
6 with regular crit.
She kind of nods, and just gradually, just like a breathing exercise, likely self-taught or something that was learned in therapy during her university time. She begins to try to calm herself down, and Monique kind of raises an eyebrow, just kind of whispers to you, "Did you just fucking validate her feelings into being calm?"
It works.
Who taught you that? I didn't teach you that.
I'll be honest, I don't know who taught me most of the things I know.
All right. Well, come on, little missy. Let's show you to your quarters for the evening. And she kind of picks her up puts a loop under her arm and kind of walks with her arm in arm, kind of dragging her a little bit. To which Magdalena begins to sort of isn't freaking out at this point, but is still not doing great, and it shows in the fact that she begins to sort of sob quietly. Victor and Erebus return shortly after.
All went well, I see.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, she's here with you all.
He put up a little bit of more of a fight than we expected, and I'm just gonna like hold the chained up dude as I'm leading him over towards the rafters.
You have to carry him if you want to keep him unconscious.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can carry him. It's not a big deal. And then I'm going to suspend him from the rafters. Right side up.
Interesting.
Tied up
I don't want him
with the chains.
I don't want him getting and another chain, like hook it to the back of his chains and then whoop. through the rafters, but I want his head. I want him naturally oriented so he doesn't get an aneurysm while we're sleeping.
Understood. Then, for now, I believe your plans have gone on without a hitch. Daylight is approaching, gentlemen.
Well, then let's figure out what we need to do for tomorrow then, before we go to bed. Right? I would suggest we find a boon. But if you're able to finagle whatever you want from them, then by all means. But I do feel like we're asking a lot, especially for a first meeting and without a representative.
Well, the only thing that I actually intend to ask of them tomorrow is to wipe her memory and to stay out of our way with what's going to happen, which they were going to do anyways.
I feel like that's not. Maybe rephrase it a little bit, I would suggest.
Obviously, I will be more tactful when I'm actually speaking to them.
Okay.
But that is all I really intend to ask tomorrow. Like I said, they're going to need time to think on whether or not they actually want to assist or join us, and we don't have the kind of time for them to decide.
Do we plan on touching the house at all tomorrow? Or is tomorrow the night we officially go after Forenza?
Tomorrow is the night we go after Forenza, and we can look for everybody after.
All right.
As was pointed out rather intelligently, coldly but intelligently, that's a lot of manpower and resources to use on something that may not even pan out.
And none of us have ghouls, right? They're
Nobody else
alive.
ever made any but me.
I mean, I'm a fucking.
Well, you have Chewy.
Okay. All right. Doors are locked. People are chained, right? Yeah, hopefully.
And blindfolded. In case he wakes up, I don't want him seeing where we're at.
I'll see you tomorrow night.
Yep. Sleep well.
I want to ask a question. Was the ghoul searched?
Yeah, we would have searched him. Why?
How thoroughly?
As far as me, I would have probably given him a good pat down. Not necessarily turning every pocket inside out, but
Understood.
I feel like EREBUS might have done more, knowing everything he knows.
We will have to wait and see. We're going to take a brief intermission so we can get our setite back. We will see you all very, very shortly. And welcome back. There is a question that has been asked, EREBUS, about the search procedures of this school, of Forenza School.
Yeah, and the answer is yes. Every search procedure I'm familiar with and equipped for.
I'd like you to make me a wits and whatever you think you need to find anything that he might be trying to hide. There's a lot of options here for skill.
Can I be assisting since I'm searching as well?
I'm going to say wits and investigation.
By all means, take an extra die with Victor's help.
7 with a crit.
7 with a crit. You search him, you get rid of his phone, take his shoes. This is all as Victor is stringing him up. Turn out of his pockets. Check for anything on the inseams of the stitching of his clothing. Really best to just remove him down to base layers. So a t-shirt, shorts, or rather boxer shorts, I should say. Safety dictates a heavier search. The 7 with a crit. Check everything. No one ever talks about the ramifications of ghouldom, really. constantly healthy. You're in peak physical condition. You are stagnant. Part of that is that your teeth don't rot. Really, it's a gift for anyone with a sweet tooth. His teeth are pristine, well kept, or at the very least, a lack of aging, a lack of tartar buildup. So why is there a false tooth? Sure, it could be from before he was ghouled. With the actual age of this individual, you don't think they would have had the same technology, the same upgrades in a filler as this guy has now.
Snatch it out of his mouth. With the intimate knowledge that it's more than likely a cyanide capsule or some sort of gas dispersal mechanism.
Wouldn't give me dexterity athletics, please.
I would like to rouse the blood.
By all means.
Will succeed. I'll use a willpower. 7 with the crit again.
Deftly, quickly, and almost surgically, you remove the tooth. Doesn't crack or break. But you do see it is easily done, cracked and broken. The wound is fresh. He likely has to do this every night. Because of the stagnant nature of him being a ghoul, there is no raising, there is no inflammation of the gums. He does bleed, but it's insignificant. There it is. Like the spy novels of old, a cyanide capsule in his tooth.
Hand it over to Victor. And I'll look back to him. How many more of these do you have?
He opens his mouth to speak. Quickly clamps down on his tongue.
I can respect that. Won't get you anywhere.
I'm gonna force feed him my blood so that it heals.
It will heal. Regrowing the tongue will require him to expend the vitae, Victor, which cannot be forced.
He's made his choice. Turn his head.
Waste of our time. Don't kill him. Maybe they'll want him anyways.
The months we've worked together never took you for a quitter.
There's something that sort of washes over him, Erebus. It's perhaps just an indoctrination, a training. He looks blank. Just resolving to give bare basic information or weather the storm for whatever might come. It's...
Rest will lean in. He'll kiss him on the cheek. You have skills. Skills that are useful to me. Think about what your future could look like. Doesn't have to end. Not yet.
Same blank look. You imagine he would give his name, a serial number, a date of birth, if he could speak.
Perfect. This will just tousle his hair. And then go lay down for the evening's rest.
I'm gonna gag him so he can't bite it off again while we're sleeping. And then knock him out again.
You do this. Night fades, and day takes the darkness. People move throughout the city of Mexico, completely unaware of the war that is brewing, the blood that has been shed, and the battle lines that have been drawn, the captives taken. They go about their days, they get their coffee, they go to work, come home to their families, they help with homework, sit down for an evening meal, they gather on the television as families do and watch a TV show together, tuck their kids into bed. preparing to do it all again tomorrow. As the moon rises and night falls, you rise. Need a rouse check from each of you, please.
Success.
Success.
Failure.
Bringing you to what hunger, Erebus?
2.
That is success for thing 1 and a failure for thing 2.
Which one's which?
Say Erebus is just thing 1, or is this thing 2?
What a shame.
He was at 0, so it's fine.
Hunger
Wait, was
stirs.
he?
Monique rises, her hunger still sated. The night is yours.
Check on our captive first.
He does not look like he has been sleeping. He looks like he's been assessing. Given the rubbing of the chain on the bar that he's been hoisted to, it looks like he's been wiggling, trying to wriggle off, or at least wear down the pipe or the bar that the chain is thrown over. It's rubbed away the rust. It's shiny and clean now.
A valiant effort. And I'm just gonna undo the chain from where it's tethered and let him drop.
Do this. Trey, your phone has a number of messages. Unknown numbers.
Of what numbers?
Unknown numbers.
Text messages?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Say,
I'll check
where
them.
are you? We expected you. She told us you'd be here soon. We don't like to be kept waiting. We know it's daylight. But this is really more important than your sleep, don't you think? All these things similar. Almost every hour and a half on the dot. All throughout the day.
Are there like actual numbers? Or is it unknown? Or is
Oh
it
yes, there are actual numbers. All in all, texting from about 4 different phone numbers altogether.
like I'll ask Monique and Victor about it if they recognize, well, not Victor, he is not gonna recognize nothing, but Monique, if she has recognized any of these numbers.
She doesn't.
What did the text say again?
Where are you? She told us we should be expecting you. This is more important than your sleep.
What was you gonna say, Victor?
I want you to ask me, damn it.
I mean, I would have asked you out in the open, like I would have been like, "Oh, hey, you know who know?" And then I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you can't fucking, you haven't touched the phone since the Civil War." So, did they have
Because we
Did they have
totally
phones in
had
the Civil War?
phones. No.
Hmm,
But
telegrams.
given my past history with a technomancer, can I roll wits in occult to see if this is some kind of ritual? If they're trying to track it somehow?
I would say no. Given your bane, you wouldn't be able to evaluate this enough to.
You think maybe this is Alejandro speaking from?
Well, I'm going to mention what I think it could be.
Are you? I'm waiting to hear.
What? Sorry.
What do you
I
think it
was
could be?
either somebody we know has let your number slip. It's possible a technomancer is trying to track you somehow by pinging your phone repeatedly.
I'll be honest. I have no clue. So I guess I could just call him back, right? I'll call him.
Try, but that's risky. I wouldn't do it in here.
Oh, I already pressed
Well,
it.
actually, if they've already pinged it, it wouldn't
I
matter.
already pressed it. I already pressed the phone call. I'll go outside if you want me to.
Let's all venture outside. I've got
Or
my little
should
dog on
I
a
ask
leash.
Erebus about this? Erebus might know. Where's Erebus at?
Erebus is currently with Apropos. The two of them are outside staring at the night sky.
What does Trey find you doing, Erebus? Just staring?
Look over to this new childer. What do you see when you look up there?
It's like the light pollution is gone. You can see the stars.
Reject the light, child. What do you see?
Planets, galaxies.
Thinking too small.
Understand there's nothing left to see but space, the night sky.
Dark. The void. It exists in and around all things, drawing all points of light together. That is your birthright. To see the void not for the stars. Swim in that void as if it were your mother's amniotic fluid. What does that make you think?
I'm too small.
Mm-hmm. And when all creatures are too small, what do?
Panic. Fight. Grow.
You're getting closer. The first two are the instincts of prey animals. You are a predator. And how does a predator grow?
To hunt.
Now master your beast's appetite. What do you crave now more than anything?
Erebus, you can see even now he's hesitant to say it. The physical answer is obvious. It's blood. He hesitates to speak it out.
That's a base instinct. Dig deeper.
Ponders for a moment. Trey, this is where you walk. This is where you enter the scene. Do you inquire, or do you let this continue?
Oh. I will wait for a little bit, and then, be like, not to intrude.
Could aid in this instruction, priest.
Are you sure you want me to aid?
Perhaps. When the beast hungers, it is to cover that need for blood is always that is a symptom. The beast hungers for concepts, ideals. The beast hungers for belief. Would you agree?
I would.
Then think on this, my child, apropos. Indulge in your bloodlust until you can master it and identify what it is you truly hunger for. We'll find something to sate you on our way to whatever our business is this evening.
Nods.
This is your first step. Subjugate the whims of your beast.
He nods.
I must say, I have a different perspective. But I don't wish to step on your toes, so to speak.
Enlighten us, priest.
Well, like you said, the beast hungers. Hungers for much more than just sustenance. I agree that you need to find what your beast hunger for and what satiates it. But to act on impulse, I would say, is beneath you.
And this is the reason why we subjugate the whim of our beast through feeding, so that we may gain sight of what it is we truly hunger for.
It's not just through feeding, but it's through knowledge and empowerment as well.
If that is what you hunger for, when the satiation for blood is past. You came out here to ask me something, Trey.
Yeah. These numbers, are you, do you recognize any of these?
Do I?
Given your time here, you recognize that they are area codes from Puebla, a city to the south, about 2 hours.
Do you mind if I respond to them for you?
Sure.
I'll pull out the phone that I stole from the Nos, get one of the numbers, and I'll just text the emoji of a feather and then of a snake. And in Nahuatl, I will text them, "We're coming soon."
There is an immediate sort of flash of those three dots. An address pops up. Once, and twice, and three times over and over and over.
The Pisha Nubs. We should go.
Is it the same address from before, or is it a different one?
It's not. Different address. Closer. The
Well,
address.
I'll go.
What?
No, go. No, you got it.
The address for those of you who have, well, all of you have been here for a good chunk of time. Although sightseeing has not been exactly been on your purview, it is difficult to ignore one of the historical sites of Mexico City. It is the south near the edge of Mexico City proper. Plaza Tlaxcoca. It's a small building. It's a little traditional style and architecture. Pretty, but simple. It's a public square that's overlooked by street murals and a small church.
It was once the center of the city that was Tenochtitlan.
We should get on our way. I'll let Victor and the rest of them know.
Good.
And I'll go back into the house. Or to the warehouse.
Do this. Scene is yours, gentlemen. Make any preparations you need. Prepare, plan, figure out your next move.
Yeah, I don't know much what we could really prepare. Did you want me to take the lead on this, or you got it?
As with all things, we can do it together. As Trey comes in, he would have seen Victor basically setting up their hostage so that he's basically still bound, and the other chain is like a leash so that he can't go very far even if he does try to do anything. And I could free his legs so he can walk. Or I can drag him if he refuses.
You'll have to drag him.
Okay. If he makes me drag him all the way to the car, then I'm gonna readjust it so that if he's not gonna walk, he doesn't need him anyways. So it was the Pisa knobs.
Yeah, I suppose so. He recognized the numbers. Guess it makes sense.
You have her give them your number? The person you talked to about this?
No. I'll be honest, I'm assuming it's some ghost thing, that the Hakata do, you know?
I wouldn't
But I
walk
don't
in
know.
there assuming that they are Hakata.
Aren't they?
Like most clans, there are those that will have joined and those that didn't. Choice. Or forced.
So are we just going, you said we're just going in there to ask them to wipe her mind, right?
Pretty much.
Okay.
And see if
Well,
they will give them the ideas of considering the future. I don't intend to force anything on them right now. Or ask much. See how receptive they are.
I'll be honest, Victor, I feel like I feel like I have different feelings on this matter. And if I was to speak, it'll be contradictory to what your goal is.
Speak.
So
What are your thoughts?
I think that we need to establish what our relationship is going to be tonight. Simple as that.
But if you try to force a decision on them immediately, it could turn them into our enemies.
They could. They could just be our enemies down the line. Or they could just be playing the middle field, you know. What, what's the word? Standing on the fence, so to speak, and support whoever wins. Or they could just not care in general. You know, there's a lot of coulds, you know, and I don't feel like we need to be one of those could be things.
Suppose it all depends on how things go when we get there. As long as we know where we stand, at least it helps.
And where do we stand?
I meant where we stand with them. Obviously, we would prefer them to be our allies. At
But are
least
you
for the
ready
time
to?
being.
But if it doesn't turn out how we want, are you ready for them to be enemies?
If it doesn't turn out how we want, then we don't have a choice. It's as simple as that, and we'll deal with it when we have to.
I'll follow your lead.
Disagree? Do you think anything different?
No, I just think we need to be clear on what our intentions are.
Our intentions are to form allies.
Then we need to request them as allies.
I intend to. I'm saying that I don't expect them to give us the answer tonight as to whether or not they will be our allies.
Okay.
So what comes next, gentlemen?
Loading up and heading out.
Do you
taking
bring...
We're
Go
taking
on.
both of them, right?
So
Both
choose.
the ghoul and old girl, Maggie.
Yeah.
Is this the plan for all of you? Understood. A brief bit of history in the area you're going to. It is known as the sort of entrance to the southern center of the city. It is a large square, given the wide roads. It's the construction has destroyed a good chunk of the hospital, the construction of the roads, I mean, that used to stand. The chapel itself is relatively isolated. There are 2 bronze statues, not necessarily donated, but money was funneled or given to the Mexico government in order to honor I'm going to butcher this name, the Azerbaijan. Thank you. One to honor the Khojaly massacre, and another in honor of the president of the country, or the former president of the country at the time. It is an area that is unfortunately riddled with crime. The chapel itself has been broken into a good number of times, thus very nearly destroying the old wooden doors. This chapel is from the 17th century, made of sandstone, decorated with indigenous angels. The interior has been, again, subject to theft and robbery. Several religious artifacts have gone missing since the construction and the rise in crime in the area has taken place. And EREBUS didn't speak incorrectly. It was the historic center of Mexico City at one point, now relegated to the southern portion, a nearly forgotten place. There have been talks of renovations, there have been talks of even just tearing the chapel down. The vendors that operate during the daytime here are very protective of this area. There have been talks of, the pop-up markets and the street vendors that pop up here. There is a police station in the area that regularly tries to shut such things down. This results in the threatening of city officials and violence in the plaza itself. No renovations, no large-scale deconstruction or demolition has taken place. Not for some time. It's a place that is barren, save for the chapel, marked flat. You can see from the square itself all the way to Zakalo. In the same square, not too far from this chapel, is as I said, a police station or a operation center for the police. Not entirely out of commission, but it is not up to snuff. It has a dark history. In the 1970s, it was used to torture detainees. This is a place of violence. This plaza has seen much crime and bloodshed. The two monuments that stand in the plaza, the bronze statues, one of them is dedicated in remembrance of a massacre. This place drips with blood. History is unclean. This is where you go tonight. This is where you travel. You may make stops along the way to feed. But when you arrive, you can't get that scent out of your nose. Bronze, the copper. It's as if the stone itself is soaked. Blood. When you step out of the cars, there are homeless. There are the unhoused that pay you no mind. You're in their neighborhood. And this is where we'll end tonight's session of Book of Saints. Thank you for joining us. And thank all of you for watching. Let's go around the room, let everyone know who you are, who you've been, where they can find you. Let's start with, of course, EREBUS.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me again, Avery, at AVERY on all the social medias. I'm a community ambassador right here on the Rolling Nomads. I style myself something of an internet personality, so you'll see me doing a lot of other stuff. But as it's been so eloquently stated, this evening, I've been EREBUS. Thank you so much for being here.
Excellent. Trey?
Yeah. It's me, Edge the Nomad or Edge Survival. Yeah, playing Trey. And I play different characters here and there on this channel. Sometimes other channels, maybe. But yeah, you mainly find me on the Rolling Nomads, just chilling, BSing. But yeah, that's me.
Thank you so much for being here. Finally, Victor.
Hello, everyone. I'm Warren, playing Victor BELLSHANE, and you can also catch me tomorrow playing Curious Spirit Distant Rain in our D&D game. But that's pretty much all you need to know about me.
Excellent. I, of course, have been your storyteller, Gilbert Ramos, found everywhere at Ramos the Nomad. You can find all of our streams here for the Rolling Nomads right here on twitch.tv/Rolling Nomads. You can find these previous episodes uploaded 4 days after the air date over on youtube.com/Rolling Nomads, and you can keep up to date with us the most effectively through our Twitter and our Blue Sky, which is @ Rolling Nomads on our Twitter and @ Rolling Nomads on our Blue Sky, respectively. You can catch us out on TikTok at _ Rolling Nomads for any key highlights, clips, moments that are of interest from these streams. Our Instagram is going to be kickstarting here after Gen Con, and speaking of which, a few of us are going to be over at Gen Con. You might recognize some of us. Feel free to come say hi. We will be passing out some stuff, some the business cards to let everyone know where we're at and such. We're here to shake hands and say hi and make friends. Do the tabletop stuff, you know? I believe that's us. I feel like I've butchered this outro. Is there missing anything? Alright, well, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. And we will catch you guys next time. Same time, same place, same K-Nights. We'll see you then.